Hello and welcome back to Aging Well, a monthly production of Somerville-Cambridge Elder Services. I'm your host, Nathan Lamb, and with me here today is our volunteer programs manager, Maria Mazzeo.
Hey Nathan, thanks for having me back on the show.
Glad to have you here. We've got a lot to talk about today,
Yeah, we
so
do.
it's going to be pretty exciting. Maria is here to talk with us today about a couple of volunteer programs that do a lot of work in our communities to help people meet their medical needs. And we're going to start that discussion by just talking about our Medical Escort Program. So please, I'm a little new to the discussion on Medical Escort Programs. Can you tell me a little bit about what the program does?
Okay, well the program has its own manager, which is Betty Mitchell from the agency, and there's different staff that help her with that program. And it's been a part of the agency for years, and what it does is it provides medical transportation to and from medical appointments for clients and non-clients. So if your mom or dad needed a ride and to Mass General, we would get a volunteer that would take them, come to their home, help them get a coat on if they needed it, be that arm of support going out the door. Our clients, depending on their medical insurance that they have, it might cover some transportation. Otherwise, we'll provide some transportation to get both volunteer and the client to the medical appointment. The volunteer will wait and then accompany the client back home.
So there's a transportation piece, but there's also the friendly helping hand piece.
Exactly. Yes.
That's,
yes. And non-clients. So if somebody calls into the agency and they're not a client of Somerville-Cambridge Elder Services, we do have volunteers that can use their own vehicles to take these clients to and from medical appointments.
Wow, I know transportation in general is a huge issue.
Yeah.
So there's a few things to unpack there. There's the transportation piece, the volunteerism piece, and then the sort of helping out aspect. I'd say for starters, can you just tell me a little bit about the scope of this program? How many people use this? Does it have a lot of usage in our communities?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we have a regular group of clients that use it a lot. And of course, Betty keeps the statistics on it, but we must do an average of about 40 rides a month that we take the clients to and from the medical appointments. Sometimes there's procedures. Some months might have more than other months.
It must take a lot of dedication from the volunteers, because to just step back for a moment, I could probably count on one hand the list of friends that I've taken to the hospital in my time, because nobody really wants to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. It's
is.
not quick and in and out. So basically you're asking them to go to the hospital, wait for a little while. Is it a challenge finding people who fit the profile of
the hardest part of getting volunteers for that program, Nathan, is the time that we need the volunteers. Most of the medical appointments are happening during the daytime hours. And today, people are working longer. People retire later. A lot of times, by the time people are retiring and available to help during the day, they're in need of the program too. So we're always, that's one of the programs that we're always in desperate need of volunteers because of the time that we need that help. We do pay a stipend because it really can be a lot of hours invested in medical appointments. So anybody, a volunteer for 4 hours will get $10 stipend, and anything over 4 hours would be $15. Because, you go, if you're accompanying somebody to a medical procedure and there's a delay or something happens even in a medical appointment and your 1 p.m. appointment becomes now a 3:30 appointment, there's a lot of time that's involved for a volunteer.
Absolutely. So with the transportation piece of it, it sounds like it's a fairly regular program where basically they go to an appointment, then they call in a couple weeks ahead of time and say, I have something coming up, and you just put them on the schedule?
So what happens is usually the case manager will make a referral. The client will call the case manager, and Betty likes to have at least 10-day notice, but of course we have those emergencies that you only have 2 days, 1 day. So that referral will come down to the escort program. Rosemary will make a phone call to one of the volunteers to see if they're available to take this client on Tuesday, March 21st to Mass General. And then the volunteer will say, sure, I'm available, I can do it. Or if they can't do it, then Rosemary will ask the next volunteer. And then she'll mail out the information to them. And the volunteers have a log sheet where they'll record the time that they're with the client. And there's a sign-off sheet that a client signs that the volunteer took them to and from the medical appointment.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of moving pieces in there, and definitely more people you have on the list, the better, because there's a lot of people who are using it, and then there's the different times. And
we're down to about, sometimes maybe 6 to 8 volunteers. So there's really a great need, because if we don't have a volunteer to help out, then we can't help the client get to those appointments.
And that's definitely something we want to avoid.
Yeah.
How about over and above just the transportation piece, sort of the helping hand piece? Can you tell me a little bit about how that goes? It seems like my hand of friends who I've brought, these are all people I've known most of my life. So these are good friends, dear to me. So you're kind of taking a place, a sort of special place in somebody's, because it's, it's kind of an intimate thing going and getting.
And the thing that's nice too is, we're really fortunate at Somerville-Cambridge Elder Services to have very caring and compassionate volunteers. So we have never had a problem where one of the clients hasn't been happy with the volunteer that takes them. A lot of times, when they'll call and need somebody and they'll say, oh, I really enjoyed that volunteer, will that person be taking me to the doctor? So it's really nice, and that it's a nice companion, just to have it's just nice having somebody to chit-chat. Sometimes they might be going for some tests that they're a little nervous about, and somebody being able to talk about, even if it's the weather, is taking their mind off, making them laugh. That little extra socialization piece is a plus for the client.
Absolutely. So I guess that brings me around full circle. You've sort of indicated some of the things you look for when somebody applies to volunteer for these programs. What's your ideal volunteer like? How would you describe them for this program? Besides available during the day.
Yes. As I said, a real good listener, compassionate, really caring, committed, and really having that, that extra, that they go beyond the call of duty, that I'm just here to help somebody out the door into a doctor's appointment, that there's that, that feeling of companionship, friendship that they're offering to that client, that really makes a connection in that program.
Absolutely. And if people do want to volunteer, do they call you?
Yes. Well, a lot of the calls all the calls are filtered in through me, and then they're introduced to the manager of the department that they choose to volunteer with. So a lot of times when they come in for the escort program, I will do that interview, and then I take them in and I introduce them to Betty and Rosemary, whoever they'll be working with. And Betty's just always excited every time I bring somebody in, because, as I said, there's a desperate, desperate need for medical escorts.
Oh, that's excellent. And if you'd like to find out more about this program and how you can volunteer, we have a volunteer section on our website, which is fairly easy to remember. It's eldercare.org. Or we can call Marie. Marie, do you remember your phone number?
Yep, it's 617-628-2601, extension 3051. And the good thing is, if you go on our website, all of the forms that you need to fill out are right on our website, and they come directly into the volunteer programs.
That's excellent. I used to be able to remember phone numbers, and then cell phones happened. So thank you very much.
I know.
That's it for our first segment. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Thanks again.